Welcome alumni, alumni, fellows and former fellows, members of the Institute and Harvard communities, and friends old and new. We are delighted to have you with us today. It is thrilling to end Radcliffe Institute's 10th anniversary year with capacity-filling attendance at both our morning panel and this luncheon. Please welcome back to Radcliffe Yard, President Drew Faust, and please join me in extending a very warm welcome to Radcliffe Institute Medalist Gloria Steinem. Thank you all so much for coming. I would like to recognize our most senior alumni here today. Would members of the classes of 1936, 1938, and 1939 please stand? Please join me also in a special expression of gratitude to the past presidents and executive directors of the Radcliffe College Alumni Association. Would you please stand? Many Radcliffe College alumni and past Bunting Fellows who are no longer with us cherish this day. In their memory, I ask that you join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. As I look out today, I'm pleased to see among us a strong group of alumni marking their 50th Radcliffe College reunion, the class of 1960. Many of us remember what it was like to be a young woman in that era, when much cultural currency was attached to your homemaking and child-rearing skills and little to your intellect. You succeeded against great odds. You excelled academically, you set out into new terrain in your professions, you cut paths to new ways of thinking, new ways of seeing, and new ways of achieving. We applaud you. I see in this audience many pioneers. You hail from different eras, you have experienced Radcliffe in different ways, and yet you share core values and motivating principles. Values and principles that once drove Radcliffe College and that drive Radcliffe Institute today. Breaking barriers, defying expectations, intellectual exploration, academic innovation, inclusiveness, diversity, risk, and change. Together, we celebrate this legacy. The Radcliffe Institute was built on the shoulders of Radcliffe College. In fact, without Radcliffe College's extraordinary history of excellence and enterprise, the Radcliffe Institute for Advanced Study would not exist. I want to honor all of you who, by your performance as students, demonstrated that women's place in academia is at the top. I salute those who, in your personal and professional lives, have continued to defy limits, break molds, become leaders. And I thank you for your continuing vital support of the Radcliffe Institute, where your legacy flourishes and expands. Without your vision, commitment, and generosity, our success would not be possible. Throughout this past year, many of you have joined us in celebrating the Institute's first decade, and what a decade it has been. We have promoted intellectual inquiry at the frontiers of knowledge, convened great minds, and provided unique opportunities for people of diverse backgrounds and interests to come together to learn, discover, and make the world better. Through the Radcliffe Fellowship Program, Schlesinger Library, and academic engagement programs, we have been a catalyst for groundbreaking research and cross-disciplinary collaborations. Through our seminars, workshops, conferences, and symposia, we have helped cross boundaries between Harvard schools and between disciplines. Some boundary crossings have been of a more theoretical kind, the boundary between number theory and wave mathematics, for example. Others of a more physical or experimental kind, for instance, finding commonalities in nature between the deep sea and outer space, or connections between Martha Graham's Lamentations and Islamic veiling. We have brought some of the world's top scientists, humanists, social scientists, and artists to the Institute and to the Harvard faculty. Just this year, the Radcliffe Alumni Professorship, to which many of you contributed, helped the Harvard Mathematics Department attract its first tenured woman. A second Radcliffe professorship assisted the law school in appointing a distinguished Pulitzer Prize-winning legal historian. And just yesterday, Harvard awarded an honorary degree for pioneering scientific research to 2007-08 Institute Fellow Susan Lindquist, who is with us here today. We have also engaged the public with numerous programs that celebrate the life of the mind and the world of ideas. On the back of your program, right here, you'll find information about some of the exciting programs planned for next year. We encourage you to join us. Please mark your calendars and plan on coming. This, after all, is your legacy, and for it, you have our admiration, our deep respect, and our gratitude. Breaking barriers, defying expectations, and crossing boundaries are also characteristics of the Radcliffe Medalist we honor today. Gloria Steinem has had a lasting impact on women's rights in the home, in the workplace, in political spheres, in this nation, and around the world. She is admired by so many that she makes frequent appearances on most influential lists. And I lost count of the special requests for a ticket to this lunch or a seat near the front, each of which came with a story of a life affected by her work. Steinem once dreamed of tap dancing her way out of Toledo. Show business seemed like the only venue in which women were breaking the mold. Thanks to her feminist leadership, there are so many more opportunities today for so many women in so many places. Gloria Steinem graduated from Smith College, Phi Beta Kappa, and magna cum laude in 1956 with a degree in government and a fellowship to study in India. There she became acquainted with Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolent, direct action organizing, and the seeds of her activism were sown. On returning to the United States, she began a career as a freelance journalist and, as she puts it, an itinerant feminist organizer. In the late 1960s, Steinem co-founded and became a political columnist for New York Magazine, spoke out against the war in Vietnam, raised money for Cesar Chavez's farm workers movement, and stumped for liberal Democratic candidates. In March 1969, she went as a